have with you. Yes, I'm on the line. Great to be here, Julian. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. So I thought we'd kick off with you just seeing how you got into the business, what keeps you motivated, and if you can like span that out for like 10 minutes, that'd be excellent.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, again, thank you, Julian, just for the invite. It's always a pleasure to serve and share my story. And good evening, everyone. When I got a message from Julian about having some men's talk, I was like, yeah, that sounds like my type of night. It's not many of us, Julian, in the company. We saw that we saw that in Orlando, Florida at convention. So any chance we get to huddle up together and just have a good quality conversation is always welcomed. My story, it's really as the years go on, I'm really starting to appreciate my own story so much more because there's a small group of us now, not just in the company but in the UK, who were here really from the beginning, from day one. Yeah, day one, and it's a testament in itself, and it's a success and a triumph for the company in itself that we can still celebrate those people who were here from the very beginning. And you saw it, Julian, at convention when the founding directors were celebrated, because in most cases where you know companies doing very well, it's very difficult for them to pin down those people who are still here, who stood the test of time, right? And myself, my brothers, a few of us here in the UK, we were part of that group. But yes, it's been amazing. What got me into the business? I think what most men go through in life, at some point, you kind of go in that pursuit and that search of just needing to make more money, right? And it comes down to, most of the time, comes down to that. But even deeper than that, purpose. Purpose. I was looking for purpose. I was looking for what's going to be, that thing. After coming out of university, I went to the University of Hull up north in Yorkshire. Amazing time there. But, for many of you who've been to university, you will know you're living in a bit of a bubble, right? You're living in a bubble. It's not real life. And you're going through the emotions of fun, spending time with friends. You're living in a bubble. And then all of a sudden you graduate, you're thrown out into the real world, and it's figure it out, and you realize very quickly that the measurement is money. How much money are you making? I had a really bad experience in a previous job, my last job, and that's what really sparked that entrepreneurship inside of me. I wanted to do something for myself. I didn't want to be stuck in an office all day long, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, sometimes 8 to 6. I wanted to be in control of my time. So I had all of these thoughts and dreams, but I didn't have a vehicle. I didn't know what to do, how to make money by myself as my own boss, how to start a business, who to do it with, who do you trust. But I knew where I wanted to be. I knew the type of life I wanted to live, the freedoms I wanted to have, and the options as well. So you have to understand my excitement, my jubilation when I saw the Planet marketing opportunity. When I understood, firstly, it was all about travel. That was a big attraction for me. But when I saw the earning potential, and again, I'm sure we've all had that experience. It's not every day you see so many zeros and so many numbers and figures, and someone telling you you can earn this much. And the first thing that goes through probably most of our minds is, skepticism. How is this possible? How are people making this type of money? But it was only when I attended my first event, and I saw people in the UK and sorry, people in the company who were Americans who flew over in the UK to be with us at the first event. I saw people making more money in a year than I was making in a week. People making more money in a week than I was making in a year. Let me get that the right way around at the time. And that's what really opened my eyes. One thing I knew about life is that people who have a lot of money on their hands tend to not have a lot of time. And people who have a lot of time on their hands tend to not have a lot of money. These guys in this company had both, and that attracted me to that. But I saw also a fellowship of like-minded people, especially the men who were banded together. And they used to say one common thing, Julian, that I never really got for many years. They used to say this phrase, yeah, we're fighting for our families. We're fighting for our families. We're fighting for our families. Maybe I was too young to understand at the time because I just had my girlfriend at the time. Now today I have a wife and two boys, 6 and 4. But now I've grown up in the company over the last 10 years, I really understand what they were talking about. They're fighting for their families because in this opportunity, you can make more money than the average job. And not just make money, because you can make money anyway. This is residual income. And we all know in life happens. We go through different cycles and seasons, and sometimes difficulties and challenges. And when life happens, how amazing is it to know that you've built something that is still going to pay you every month? That's the power of residual income. So when I heard this over and over again, yeah, we're fighting for families, we're fighting for families, it started to really resonate with me as life grew on me. Got married, had a firstborn, secondborn, and yeah, you realize very quickly, yeah, this is real life, and money's important, but not just earning money, having something stable around your life. And outside of God and my family, those residual income checks on the 10th of every month, as you know, Julian, they've been the most consistent things in my life. So I'm really grateful for the planet. I'm really grateful for this incredible opportunity, but I'm even more grateful for those men who I saw as a young man joining this company when I was 26 or so. And I saw, some men who were much older than me, who had already had, their wives and, family. I saw them fighting for their family, and it taught me, it conditioned my mind of what to expect and also what to go through, and that it's worth going through as well. So this opportunity has given me and my family some amazing freedoms. We've traveled around the world with this business, and having the ability to do this full time, wake up every morning and plan my day as opposed to having someone else plan my day, is so worth it. It's so worth it. And I'll never tell anyone, oh yeah, it's easy. No, it's hard. But if you go through the process, if you learn the skills, you can turn what is maybe hard for everyone else easy for you, because you've learned the skills, you've gone through the process. And it's that individual dedication, that vocation to the cause. And I tell people this all the time. Sometimes in this business, you've got to be willing to work in the dark so you can shine in the light. If you want to shine in this business, you first have to be polished. And those are those lonely hours, those solace moments where you're just by yourself. Sometimes those are the best moments, when you're left with your own thoughts, no devices, just your own thoughts, and you really tap into what you want, but most importantly, how bad you're willing to fight for it. And in the words of those men who I once upon a time saw and still follow today, fight for your families, Sam, fight for your purpose as well. So yeah, Julian, it's been my story, and I'm still writing new pages of my book in Planet Marketing. I'm so proud. 10 years. And I'm really looking forward to celebrate everyone else's time when they get to say 5, 10, 15 years. That's where we're going. But again, just it's worth it. It's worth fighting for. We don't know what's coming tomorrow. We don't know what situation in the world. So much is going on, right, in the world, and what's going to happen next year, the year after. But what we do know is that if we pay the price today, we're building something that's going to really just look after not just ourselves, but our families. I was speaking to one of my American team members the other day, and they were telling me about all the changes that's happening in the Trump administration. I said, hey, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. It matters who's in your house, right? It's about the decisions you're making. Governments are going to change. Policies will change. But what change can you make today that's going to look after your family? No one loves and is going to fight for your family harder than you. And that's the fellowship that we have here, Julian. We saw it in the men's locker room at convention. So powerful, so strong. As Mr. Bradley said, we should refer to each other as kings, right? We're kings of our castle. And we get to be kings of our castle here in Planet Marketing if we're willing to pay the price. So, yeah, that's my story, Julian, and still fighting to this day. I'm really grateful for everything I've got in this company.
Well, that's amazing. Right. So obviously, I couldn't be let you go without asking you a couple of questions.
Of course.
Of course. All right. So my first one, everybody wants to know, what's been your biggest hurdle in this business? And then how did you overcome it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you something. You're going to go through this journey, and really it's a process. It's designed to push, pull, and stretch you. But there's something very beautiful about network marketing, but also there's some traps as well. You're thrown into this arena where, oh, you can see the prize right there, right? And you're seeing it just right in front of you. You're seeing people walk the stage. You're seeing the success, the promotions. And when you want it so bad, sometimes it can put you into a point of desperation. And those are some of the traps I've fell in over the years, sometimes falling into a place of desperation. And when you fall into a place of desperation, you can tend to lose focus on the very thing you were doing that got you to a point of success in the first place. So my biggest hurdle, my personal biggest hurdle that I have feel like I've finally kind of overcome. Because what the thing about this business, Julian, is that everyone comes into this business, yeah, and it strips you down. It humbles you very quickly, this process. And it highlights your strengths, but it also highlights your weaknesses. And one of my weaknesses in life, one of the things that I had to really personally overcome, was the ability to focus. The ability to focus. I'll give you an example. I'm a big sports guy. I love football, table tennis, tennis. Those are my sports. And I'm I'm a very good table tennis player. I'm a very good tennis player. And whenever I'm playing, my brothers or my friends or just church members over the years, I always get to a point of where I'm winning. I've got 5 match points if it's table tennis. I've got 3 match points if it's tennis, right? And then I'll get into a bit of a cocky state. Start showboating, start doing some flamboyant shots. And I've got my uncles, my coach back in the day, used to tell Toby, focus, finish your point, finish your game, focus on what you were doing that got you there. No, not the young version of me, just there, I can do it, I can win any start. And then before you know it, juice. Before you know it, their advantage. And now I'm panicking. Now I've lost everything. I don't remember what I was doing before. I'm out of rhythm, I'm out of shape. And then you lose. And I can't tell you how many times I've been. John will tell you the stories, Julian. I've been through those stories quite a bit. So this was kind of maybe something that I had to overcome, not just in the business, but just in life in general. Finish what you started. Cross the finish line. Don't lose distraction. Mr. Bradley says it's not hocus pocus. It's focus, focus. Not hocus pocus meaning, it's going to be this new thing that we're going to do, this new magic trick. No, focus. Focus on what you started and finish it. Run through that finish tape. So my biggest personal hurdle was tapping into the ability to focus and finish what I started. You're good enough. That's what I have to tell myself. Toby, you're good enough. That's why you got to this place. But you're never going to see how good you could be if you never focus and finish what's in front of you. So yeah, focus. It's a big one.
Lovely, lovely. Right, okay. So what's been your best moment? Can you identify one moment, 10 years, that's been your best?
There's a few. Becoming a director many moons ago now, that was amazing. The second director in UK history. That was amazing itself. Producing a director many years ago now, is something sweeter when you just see someone that you've worked with in the trenches just receive their recognition, their moment, and you've played a part in that. That was very special. One that comes to mind recently was, I guess maybe this more on the fun side. My brothers and I, we did a US tour. Not this year, but last year. This year was amazing. But last year was like a movie. Just going through America for 10 days, city to city. We were jet lagged for, I think, the whole time. I don't think I got a decent night's sleep, eating on the go, and just really living that Planet Marketing American lifestyle, event to event, because they've got events Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it's all over America. So we're just flying around and moving around, and that, I mean, just the experience, you feel like a rock star. I felt like the Bee Gees, I feel like Gary Barlow, everything all up. And it's just what we have in our hands, what this company has provided us inside this arena, like-minded people working together for a common goal. Where else do you find this? Where else do you find this? Where else can you, as we saw Julian in convention, people walking across the stage having a rock star moment, being recognized, being celebrated, not tolerated, where most people, unfortunately, are tolerated throughout the week. Where else can you find this? So it's so worth it. I've got too many moments. There's too many. And one thing I will say, those things that gives you those moments, those memorable moments, staying plugged in. Staying plugged in. When you're plugged in and you're close to the fire, your coach is going to know that you're close to the fire. You're always on the Zooms. You're always showing up to the trainings. You're at the events, the big events, and you're just plugged in. And then at some point, your coach is going to know, hey, this person always there, finishing my sentence, always showing up. When I need someone to run with, the first hand up, ready to go. And then at some point, when that door is open for your coach, Julian, and whoever it might be, say, hey, Julian, bring your core free to this private meeting, right? Bring your core, bring your key people. Julian's thinking about those people who are always showing up throughout the year. And I've been on the recipient end of that with David. When Mr. Bradley says, hey, David, private meeting, I want to show you, bring your core people. And David will invite me and invite, and the people who did the work, not just because I'm his brother, the people who did the work and show up. And when you have those moments, it's so special. And each moment just takes you to another level of belief. And the more you see, the more you believe, the more you want to work it, and the more you're going to achieve it.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so you talked about Mr. Bradley a lot, but what's the best advice that you got from Mr. Bradley?
Ooh. So much going through my head right now.
I bet there is.
The best advice, focus is definitely one of them, but I've talked about focus. But that's one thing that he always says, that you can't compete with him on that level, his ability to focus. So that's a big one. I want to think more of a practical, from a building standpoint, in network marketing. The best advice, not so much what he's said to me, more what he's modeled over the years. The ability to speak life into people's hearts and into their future. The first time I met Mr. Bradley back in 2014, November, my brothers had already met him at a previous event. I was in Portugal traveling with my girlfriend at the time. We came back and, they had kind of talked to Mr. Bradley about, oh yeah, there's a third brother. There's a third one who's in the business as well. So Mr. Bradley had already met John and David. And he's like, there's another one. Right. So I come back, I meet him in the hallway at this big Super Saturday event in London. And he looks at me and I'm walking towards him and I look at him. It's the first time I'm seeing him in my life. And I kind of, that's the Donald Bradley guy that my brother's been talking about, because I recognize the face. And he looks at me and maybe he recognized me because he was in the middle of talking to someone else in the hallway. Everyone was in the big main room. He looked at me and he said, you one of the Costa brothers? I'm like, yeah. I said, I'm the third one. He's like, can you imagine making £67,000 a month? That's what he said to me. Very American style, right? But it took me back, Julian. And I didn't have anything else to say. I was stunned. Because no one had ever talked to me like that before in my life. No one had ever said such words. Can I imagine? Of course I can't imagine making £67,000 a month. Who says that? But from day one, the first moment I met him, he was already speaking life into my future. He was already establishing himself as the teacher in my life, that he's here to help me. And he's done this countless times over the years. And he's never taught me or my brothers or anyone, oh yeah, you have to speak. He's never said those words. He's just modeled it. Mm. And I guess over the years, as I spent more and more time around him, I've learned that it's one of the most important special things you can do to someone, because you're coming from a place of belief and conviction. You've already seen what this business can do. You've already seen what this industry can do. Lives that have been changed. So even if you're not making £1 million yet, because you've seen and you've been exposed, you're able to share that belief in someone who maybe hasn't yet seen. Someone who is feeling hopeless, so you can help them become hopeful about their future and their life. And it's that ability to speak life into someone. But you can only speak life if you have life in the business. We all have life, but in the business. And how do you get life in the business? You first have to see it. When you've been exposed to it. I'm sure, Julian, how we're feeling right now coming from convention, my goodness, what we saw over those 3 days. So when we come back, it's just infectious. It's oozing out of us. We can't help but ooze life out of us. Prosperity, abundance, all of the things that you deserve if you're willing to do the work. So yeah, speaking life into people's hearts is what Mr. Bradley modeled, and it's the biggest thing I've learned from him over the years.
Okay, so final question, right? I don't want to tax you too much because it is getting later in the evening, but we've got a mixture of experience on the call tonight. So what advice would you give them, or motivation or whatever, would you give to these guys to see them through until the next convention?
Well, Glenn, Rob, Graham, Warren, just, great to meet all of you again, and just really, really glad that you're all here, because you first have to show up. That's the first thing, and each and every single one of you have shown up. That's the very first thing. One of the things that people struggle with in this business is taking that accountability. We're so used in kind of maybe like a corporate environment where, we we show up, and whether we do the maximum or the minimum this month, we're still going to get that salary at the end of the month. But in business, it's quite the opposite. You literally have to show up to fight for your check. You literally have to show up every day, every moment, to fight for your check, fight for your income, fight for your goals and your dreams of what you're looking to achieve. And that's the hardest thing that most people kind of comprehend, to kind of make that adjustment, that shift. One of the biggest lessons I learned from my brother David, he said many times, he said, if only people can put into this business the same consistency, effort, hard work, perseverance, dedication that people put into their day jobs. Only then at some point their business is going to match their salary, and then it's going to overtake at some point. But where most people can't make that shift. So David always talked about the 9 to 5, but then the 5 to 9, right? So you got your 9 to 5, you work, right? We got, do what we got to do to put food on the table, pay our bills, light in the city. But what about the 5 to 9? There has to be a sacrifice somewhere for your goal and for your dreams. And no one else can do it other than you. So that shift, Julian, that shift of just accepting this is your business, it's yours to own. And yes, we've heard, what you put in is what you get out, but no, really, what you put in is what you get out. And you first got to put in that deposit before you take out the withdrawal. So that ownership and tying down every ounce of work you put into your business to your goals and your dreams. That's why we have a vision board. So you're looking at that every day. That's fueling you, that's driving you, that's pushing you. Even in the moments we don't want to do it, we're tired, we don't feel like doing it, it's still driving you. Why? Because it's not just about the money, it's about purpose. What's the purpose? What's the never agains? I had some never agains, Julian. Never again do I want to be in a situation where this happens. Never again do I want to not be able to look after those people around me in my life. Never again do I want to be, right? What are your never agains? And when you feel your mind with those things, your purpose, your never agains, it's going to make you fight. And I believe in each of us men, there's something inside of us that, if you push that button, if you trigger that, you're going to put me up against the wall, I'm going to fight back. And if we can tap into that, men, and fight back in this business for our families, you're going to truly bring out the best version of yourself inside of this environment that we call Planet Marketing. So yeah, just keep fighting, keep persevering, stay close to the fire. Julian's lit the most beautiful campfire, right? Right now, got the marshmallows out, right? Cracking wood. Stay close to the fire. Stay close to the fire, and at some point, it's going to set you on fire.
That's absolutely brilliant, Toby, and thank you for giving us your time and all that motivation. Really, it's been I can't put it into words at the moment how much I appreciate you. It's been fantastic.
I mentioned that too, Julian. I appreciate you, and again, just words on yourself. It's I really appreciate yourself and Dawn and just everything both of you have just given to the planet. And I say that because you're truly company people, and there's not many company people in Planet Marketing. Many people, just happy to, enjoy what the company can give them, but what about giving back to the company? And I was talking to my brother John and Stephen at convention. I was talking about yourself and Dawn, and just how wonderful it is to work with like-minded people who just understand it's bigger than us. It's about who's coming behind us and how many lives can be impacted through the work that we can do together. And again, just pioneering, just what you're doing in Scotland right now, and we're going to get Mr. Bradley there very soon. It's really wonderful what yourself and Dawn are doing. So I appreciate you. I really do.
Oh, thank you so much for your kind words. Right, so what I was planning on doing, because obviously Toby's talked really well now for the last half an hour, is I'm going to go through finding your why. So you're quite welcome to stay, Toby, or you may go. That's completely up to you.
I've got a call at 9:30, so I'm gonna have to love you and leave you. But it's been wonderful, and please, Julian, call me back anytime. Been great to be here. Great to meet you, Glenn, Rob, Graham, Warren. I'm hopefully looking forward to seeing all of you very soon at one of the big events, London or Scotland. Definitely be coming up very soon.
For sure. Well, I'm going to both, so see you one of them anyway.
For sure.
Okay, cheers.
Take care. Appreciate you all. Take care, everyone.
Okay, cheers. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, right. So you're gonna bear with me because obviously I've got man flu today. Um, but yeah, Rob's feeling the pain as well. So if you can make my husky voice, we'll go through this wee presentation. Okay. I knew that Toby was going to be here for a little while, so I didn't really want to give you a big lesson today. So can everybody see the screen, the man behind the mission? Just put a thumbs up if you can see it. Yep, okay, good. Right, okay. Right, so finding your why. Now, we touched on this through the week, and people have been sharing the why, which has been absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for that. We also touched a little bit on consistency being our biggest downfall. And it's not just one person, it's pretty much everybody here. And as Toby quite rightly said, that part of your why is going to help you with your consistency. But the reason why your why isn't helping you at the moment is because we've not gone deep enough in our whys. And that's very evident with what was shown on the comments that you made this week. Okay. They are good whys, but that's just the start. So what we'll do is we'll just quickly go through the slides, and then I've got a little exercise at the end. It's not right. It's not a closed eye exercise or anything like that. It's just a bit of pen and paper, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to go down your whys, and I'll tell you why as I'm going through. There's going to be a lot of whys tonight, okay? We're going to be saying why a lot, but I'm gonna tell you a wee story, a couple of wee stories that's happened to me over the years on how my why's developed and why I got emotional at the last time Louise did a why training. Okay, so what is your why? So what is your why is exactly what it says. Why are you here? Okay, it's the reason for joining this business in the first place. You've got to develop your why as you go on because it's very good to start. Obviously, I need more money, I want to travel more, blah, blah, blah. That's your why. Okay, to start with. That's why you came into this business. But it does go a lot deeper than that. It has to go a lot deeper than that because it's easy to start this business. But as Toby says, there are pitfalls in the business. And you need something that's going to carry you through the harder times, okay, the frustrating times when things aren't going quite the way that you think they should go. All right. And if you focus on your why, then that'll get you through. Also gets you up in the morning. Okay. At the moment, most of us have got full-time jobs. So guess what? That's our why is to get up, go to work. Why? Because we need to put food on the table. Okay, we need to have stability. What we want to achieve in the future is why we joined this business. And that's why matters. Okay. It's going to be your motivation. It's going to be about you. I run a travel business, but how do you run your travel business? I post daily on social media, but it's why are you posting on social media? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So we're going to get through that in the next couple of steps. So, does your why make you emotional? Obviously, the catchphrase is, does your why make you cry? All right. Now, I didn't believe it to start with, obviously, because I hadn't gone deep enough. And it doesn't always have to make you cry, but it has to make you, give you to stir up some emotion inside your belly, and give you that fire in your belly or something. Um, and that's what's going to get you through everything. All right, that's going to get you through the very frustrating times when your messages aren't going right. People aren't answering you. You might lose some people off your team. This, that, and the other. And you're thinking, oh, why? Question mark. Why? And then you just look around you, and then you'll see your why. Okay. People with young families. One of the things that was said to me was you look into the eye of your why every morning when you're cradling your baby. Okay. So that's a very powerful why. but it's not just about that, which we'll go on to in a minute. And what we've got here is we've got a surface why and a deep why. So at the moment, a lot of people, uh, a surface why is want to travel more, want to earn more. That's a surface why. A deeper why is what we're going to come on to in a minute. Right, okay. Has anybody got any questions at the moment? I think I've got you all off things because, like I say, what I wanted to do now is quickly go through. So, yeah, you can do if you want to. Okay, so what I want to do at the moment is go through. It's a pen and paper exercise. You don't need to share it, but this is for you. Okay. Right. So first one, step one. Okay. Is start with your surface why. We all keep talking about surface why. Surface why. So what is it? This is why you started the business in the first place. So write down your most obvious answers. So it's to earn extra income, to travel more, to have more freedom. That's what people normally come out with when they first talk about their why. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's exactly why you joined the business. Okay, but what's going to keep you in the business is that you need to go deeper. So that's your first level. Your second level now is, like I say, why is it important to me? So you take the answer from number one and you ask yourself, why is that important to me? For example, to earn extra income because I want to stop living month to month. I want to travel more because experience makes me feel alive and connected. To have more freedom because I want to be present with my kids as they grow up. As you all know, when we work 9 to 5, we miss a lot of them growing up. We can't go to their school sports days or their plays or whatever, especially Christmas time, the nativities and that. We always have to make sure we go to the late ones. Okay, so now you've just put some meat onto this bones of your why. Okay, so whatever your why was, you've now put an actual reason to that why. You've then got to go to the next level. So why is that important to me? So you usually start with your practical reason, then move on to emotional territory. So this is now you tap it into your emotionals. This is why it's called the why that makes you cry. Okay. And finally land on something deep and personal, often tied to identity, legacy, or love. So all of those are emotions. So it could be I want to travel more because I want to create amazing memories with my family. Because I want my kids to grow up believing life is meant to be lived fully. Because I don't have that growing up, I want to change that story. So I didn't have that growing up, so I want to change that story for my family. Okay, all of these are what we call your third level of your why. Okay, and it's basically legacy. A lot of that's legacy. I want to do the thing. So we'll go through my little story, okay? And I'll try not to get emotional about it. So obviously I joined this business because I wanted to travel more. All right. I worked on you know, I wasn't a director then, I was just an area manager at the time. And my wife was a regional manager for the care industry. But we still only managed one holiday a year, and that was like we work all this time and all we can do is go away once a year. There's something wrong. We should be able to go away a lot more than just once a year. And this wasn't like, expensive holidays to Orlando or something like that. Disney can be expensive. I know we can get it cheaper now, but back then it was like unheard of. You save up for 7 years before you could go. Now, I was like, oh my God, so we were going to, we were going to like Lanzarote, we were going to Spain, we were going to France. So we had good holidays. Don't get me wrong, we loved the holidays. The kids loved the holidays. They didn't know any better. But for us, working all that time, we were like, oh, I really wish we could go away a bit more with the kids, give them a bit more um, to see more of the world instead of just being, stuck here in caravans and tents and that. So when this opportunity came up, that was ideal that we could travel more. So that's the reason I came into the business. Obviously, then I went to convention, and convention showed me that I could actually earn more. And at the same time, I was getting my directorship. And the only thing that happens in the directorship is that you get a target put in your back, and you don't know what you're going to get the blame for next, and if you're going to keep your job. All right. I'm very good at keeping my job, but there's always going to be that one time where you get the blame for something, and then they'll just, you'll just go. So I needed that financial security. So again, it went from traveling to financial security, and that financial security was for my family. I went on a Fraser course, one of his master classes that he does, yeah. And at the end of those courses, you get to go and speak to their one of their coaches, okay? And one of their coaches actually went through why with me. And it got, he started off, why do you want to do this? And I says, I want to travel more. Why is that? I want to earn more. Oh, why is that? Then it just got more and more and more. And then it ended up being that my kids, I've got three older kids, that say to me all the time, says, I'm glad that you're doing this for you, but it's not for me. Okay. And it hurts when your kids don't quite believe in you with what you're doing. So my why turned into wanting to make them proud and to make sure that I wasn't going to be that person that was just, that old idiot that decided to go and do something, this, that, and the other. So my why became wanting to make my children proud of me because as you probably know that your kids are brighter than you and more thinking than you now because eventually at some stage in their lives they overtake you, which isn't a bad thing, but it does hurt. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure that I left something for them, and something that they don't do. And this is something that they wouldn't do. So that was when I first changed into that emotional why. And I did get a little bit upset about that. Then we went to convention this year. And again, we went through why training. And it was, again, going into a situation where what would happen if my work, my real work during the day failed? What would I then have? What the kids have, and this, that, and the other. So that's what my why is. Very emotional, to make them proud, but to also leave them something, and to make sure that, if anything did happen to me, financially, that I'd still be able to provide for my family. And in the locker room with Mr. Bradley, that was a very big thing that I was putting across to everybody else in the room, providing for your family. So provide for your queen. So that's why he calls us kings, because we provide for our queen. Our queen, what car is she driving? If she's driving I don't know, a little Corsa, is that good enough for your queen? And you're driving an Audi, yeah? What street is she driving that in? Is it in a nice street or is it in the Bronx? This, and this. So that's why we started be called kings, to look after our queens and to basically focus on our whys. Now, obviously, your why isn't going to give you the whole consistency. This is just one part of it. The rest of it will come with other things that we'll do today, not today, but in future trainings. But I want you to go away today from this call. Write down your first why you joined, then why that's important, and then keep going. Orlando Muir does 7 levels. So he just keeps stripping that back, stripping that back, stripping back. And he's actually done it to people on stage. And obviously, they do get emotional because it stirs that up. But if you can actually dig down deep into your why, and then I want you to write it down. And I don't want you just to write it down on one pad. I want you to write it down on post-it notes and put it around the house. Okay? Because what that does is that keeps reminding you of what your why is. All right, when you wake up and you can't be bothered to send that one message, or you can't be bothered to finish off that quote, or you can't be bothered to do this, or you do that, that'll always do it. Fraser Brooks swears by having post-it notes. So you can't have thousands of post-it notes because your wires are going to go mental. All these post-it notes everywhere. But if you just have them in like your bathroom or in fridge or somewhere like that, and it just keeps jogging you and just keeps you going. But don't be scared to keep going down, 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 and down and down until you actually feel something in in your stomach or in your heart. I know that sounds a bit soppy, but it's actually what gives you focus because you don't want to let them down. Like I said, a newborn child, you're looking your why in the eye every day. We're a little bit older now, and hopefully our kids are a wee bit older too. So it kind of changes a wee bit, but you still want them to be proud of you. You still want them to think, yeah, they've done it. You know what I mean? So that's where I am. So you can unmute. If you've got any questions, please fire away. It's an open forum. And if you have not got any questions, have you got any suggestions that you want to learn for next time? Or what your struggles were?
Evening, Julian. It's Glenn. You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically a couple of things. Obviously, Toby was absolutely brilliant, and he sort of, for me, he hammered home the main thing, and he referred to it quite a lot as focus. So for me, it's that focus. So I would struggle with that focus. Now, whether it's because I focus on other things like work and my full-time job, I don't know. Running a law firm, it takes a lot of your focus away. But yeah, it is focus is so important. It's a cornerstone of, it's a building block, if you like. That's the way I see it anyway, in terms of getting things done. And the why thing, I've done this before. I did this session with Tony Robbins, online, and I remember in the room there was 700 people, and it ended the gratitude and emotional thing with all these people in the Zoom room, and literally 90% of people at the end of this like 5 minute sort of thing about whys and things like that, literally everyone was in tears. You could see it really. So when you really drill down and think about it, it does open your mind really, which I think men traditionally quite find it difficult to do.
Yes.
So no, I think it's no, I appreciate the efforts, Julian, and yeah, it's great to hear someone like Toby. It just reaffirms it's not just for the 1% of the business. You can do it.
Yeah, you certainly can. You certainly can. And that's the beauty of this group is we're going to do that together. I want to make it so that we can talk to each other about emotions and stuff like that. There's no on this call. There's nobody else looking in. Do you know what I mean? So it's just us. And this is the safe space. So I've only recorded it because we've got Alan away on the ship. We've got a couple of guys that are doing night shifts. So I'll share it I'll share it with them. But this is where we need to be able to feel comfortable and just say, look, I've got this, this front for everybody else. But for here, I'm really struggling with, a thing. Okay. And we'll try and help that out. We'll bring that out in the groups with a bit of laughter, a bit of seriousness, whatever else we can do. That's what we're going to do. And then we'll bring in people. Okay, we'll bring in other men that and we'll lead with them and show them what we've learned. You know what I mean? So it won't be just me talking on here. So like Glenn, once we'll work on focus because like you say, you're running a law firm and things go wrong with that. That's a big thing that goes wrong. You know what I mean? So, like myself, my exports can be anything from 50,000 to 250,000 a week. So those well, I'm in the poo. So you've got to focus on that as well.
Yeah.
But it's just having that 1 hour. Okay. And what I've learned, what I've learned today, no, sorry, yesterday, was Eric Worre was interviewing somebody, and she says, "What's your bare minimum? What is your bare minimum that you would be happy, that you can do every single day, no matter what's going on in your life? What is your bare minimum?" And she did. She says, "Right, so I'll send one message." And it was all once. I will send one message. I will do one reverse. I will do one. But I'm doing that every day, no matter what's happening in life. So I can do that before I go to work. I can do that at dinner time. I can do that after dinner time. When I come back from work, I can do that just before I go to bed. So that's my bare minimum. And I don't think, we need to have hundreds of conversations to build our big teams. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes, because not everybody wants to join, not everybody can join. You know what I mean? If everybody was going to join, we'd have no fire service, no policemen, you know what I mean? We'd have nothing. The whole world would just go to rack and ruin. But we need to find that percentage of people that need this business for themselves. And the only way we get to do that is by going out and sharing it with everybody to find those people that sometimes they don't know they need it. The amount of conversations I have and oh no, I've not got the time. This will give you time. I've not got the money. This will give you money. I've not got the confidence. This will give you confidence. I've not got this. This will give you pretty much everything that anybody's scared of. They're just scared because it's different. And we're all in that boat. When I first looked at this, I was completely in that boat. I was like, this ain't right. This can't be right. And it was only when I went to convention, like I say, every week I say this, convention changed me completely, because I was able to see millionaires talking to you on your own level and not hard sell. It was just talking. I want to share and help people, and that's very admirable. But yes, we'll look on focus and we'll break down what you should be able to do every day, even though things are going Pete Tong, at home. Okay, you need to be able to do that one thing that's going to keep you going every day. And if you keep into this business every single day, you'll reap the rewards. Not today, maybe in 6 months' time, or in 3 months' time, once you get over Christmas. The work that you do now, that's going to pay dividends for that. So the more people that you've got talking to you, as soon as you start reconnecting with them after Christmas, they're going to want to do the business. The ones that are interested, the ones that aren't interested, they're not going to do anything. But the ones that had a vague interest before Christmas are going to come, online after Christmas. Okay, so do that work now to get there. We can do an hour. If we can do an hour for a call, we can do at least 10, 15 minutes on doing a couple of messages or a social media posts. Social media posts does not have to be Canva and pic collage and everything else. It just needs to be something to identify you as you living your life. All right, crikey, these dark mornings now, I'm going to work in the dark. So story, I'm actually now going to work in the dark. But luckily I can get home and it's still daylight. You know what I mean? So it's like things like that. So you just need to be able to concentrate. So we'll work on that. But yeah, so if everybody's in agreement, we'll work on focus. And we'll try and do I don't want to go into time management just yet, but we'll work on focus. But focus is coming off your why as well. Your why is then focusing.
And then consistency in it. So like it sort of rolls into it all, doesn't it? Then
It does. Consistency.
yeah.
I was going to put the slide up. I was going to put consistency, and then all the things that affect our consistency. So it's your why, it's your time management. It's I don't know, just easily distracted, because that's your focus, isn't it, and stuff like that. So that's all what comes in it, and we just knock each one off at a time. All right. For going into the chat, if you're not comfortable sharing your deep why, that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to push anybody to share that. But if you can actually just tell me that you've done it, would be good. I found my deeper why. If you've went down 3 levels, then that's great. If you've gone down 4 or 5, that's even better. If you found the emotional one, share that you found your emotional one. I just need to know that you found it. That's all. All right. I don't need you to tell me what it is. Did you want to say something, Rob? Because I saw you on mute, and I was like, I talked over his unmuting, and I was like, shh. I'm trying to finish so he could actually say something. Poor guy.
I think I'm just about keeping my eyes open, Julian. I'm absolutely loaded with the man flu.
Oh, it's terrible, this flu.
But I did like what you said before, that people are scared because it's different, and I think you could go along them lines with people. You know, I know you're scared because it is different.
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't seen it before.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's right, 100%. I always listen to Les Brown. He had this great story where basically the guy, this soldier got captured, and he went. Basically, the captain said to him, "Right, okay, you've got a choice. You either go through that unknown door with unknown horrors, or you can face a firing squad the next day. You make your choice." And so the guy said, "I'll have the firing squad." And then when basically the team after said to him, what was behind that door, and he said freedom, but he didn't choose that because it was unknown. And that always sticks in my mind, because so people are scared of the unknown. So so they rather go to, they know what they're going to get, so they go to that. Yeah. Whereas obviously you just don't know what's through that door, and he didn't. And so it's a great sort of quick story in terms of everyone fears the unknown.
Yeah, and it's everybody's biggest fear is the unknown. People scared of the dark. Why are they scared of the dark? Because they don't know what's in it.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. You don't know you tried it.
You don't know. Of course, your imagination is the biggest.
Yeah, take your day's consolation for it.
Yeah.
But it is, your imagination is the biggest killer of dreams.
I spoke to a guy over British Virgin Isles. He was on a call 2 weeks ago. I can't remember his name off the top of my head anyway. And he says, "I'm still thinking about it." I thought, no, that's the best one ever. So why not just take advantage of the 30-day?
Yeah, but some people will look in from out with, and they want to see your story, want to see your successes. So as soon as you get a success, you need to be putting that into your socials to allow people to look in and say, "Oh my God, yeah, this is working," and they'll come in. There's people. You hear this all the time. Louise will say it, Karen will say it. I've seen it. It happens to me. People are watching. I've got somebody that watches me every single time I put a post out. She's there, but she won't comment on anything. But I know she's there, and I speak to her. But not about the business. But every time I post about the business, she's interested. So she's going to join at some stage. It's just when it's right for her.
Yeah, I've got one of them, but she's got that many problems going on at the minute.
Well, the best one I have.
She's a woman. She's 6 foot. I'm only 5'7", so she calls me half pint.
Half pint. That's always good. Right, so I've only got a minute left, so we'll wrap this up. So yes, so tomorrow, if you could please put in the group chat, that you found your deeper why. I don't need to. If you want to share it, great. That'd be amazing. But if you don't need to, just let me know that you have done it. And if you haven't done it, don't put it in, because you're only just lying to yourself. All right, this isn't like a tick box type thing. If you want to do it, that's great. I'm here to.
Yeah, but that was quite uplifting of Toby, man.
Yeah, he's a good. Well, that's why I brought him on, because he's really good. He's really, really good, and I love listening to him. I could listen to him all day, because he's just full of. Well, he's been there. He's been there for 10 years, right from the start. And like I say, he was about a couple of weeks behind everybody else because he was.
I've got Mr. Bradley next week, Julie.
I'm trying, but I don't think I'll work my way up. So I've got Toby, it'll be David, and then it could be somebody else will be on. But David's away in America at the moment. But I don't do it every week, because obviously then you just get used to it. But every now and again, it'll be nice. And it doesn't always have to be a bloke, it can be a female, because for us, we need to find out both sides of the story. So it'll be nice to have a woman's view from that every now and again as well. So we'll do it that way as well. But yeah, no, thank you very much for giving up your evening.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Any questions, just put them in the chat. I'll get on with them. Yeah, I just keep passing on the word that we can't be doing travel in that chat, simply because I'm not trained to give you advice on travel. So the likelihood of anybody seeing it is going to be really small, but you just never know. You know, it just could be an innocent comment like, "Oh yeah, Julian said just do this," you know, and you just pass it on to somebody else, and then they go, "What's Julian telling you how to travel for? He's not an ambassador." All right, so let's just keep going on about the rep side of it, and then we'll keep ourselves right then. All right.
Yeah.
But you can always private message me, but I'm not the best at travel. Just put it that way. So I know enough. I know enough to sell it.
Yeah.
All right. No, thanks for your time, guys.
No,
And
I love your passion, Julie. I love it.
yeah, it's still there after all these years, mate. So something's going right. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
And I'll see you
I'm going
all
for a
on the
sleeve of the
chat
top.
tomorrow. All right. I'm going to go hot toddy.
Cheers. See you later. Take
Cheers.
care.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your stag
Bye.
weekend, Julie.
Sorry, mate.
Enjoy your stag weekend.
Oh yeah. Brussels. So hopefully there's some good beers. I might be able to taste them by then.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, take care.
Cheers,
Have a good
guys.
time. See you later.
See you
Bye.
later. Thank you. Bye-bye.